if I could somehow make you stop for a second or two and take stock and ask, what is the one thing that I keep doing? And how can I go about changing that? Because as the saying goes, nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. So picture, if you will, you're a lioness. And it's early morning in the savannah, and you have a rumbling tummy. Maybe you got a few cubs biting at your tail saying, Mama, feed me. They're hardly going to wake up going, dear Mama, would like some breakfast. They're going to express themselves in a, give me some food, lady. So there you are. And there's a herd of wildebeest. Does that remind you of something? An enormous amount of prey that we can devour. FTSE, gold, euro, dollar, yen, dollar, yen, DAX, NASDAQ, you name it. It's all there. But what does the lioness do? Do you think it starts running after the first one and then the second one? Oh, that didn't work out. Let him run after something else because I sure as hell can't have a calm mind. I need to chase something. No, and you know it doesn't. Because see, for the lioness, it is also faced with the prospect that one of those things, as delicious as a breakfast buffet it makes for a lioness, could also mean that the lioness itself becomes the victim, which again only cements the bridge of the analogy of what it is you and I are trying to do in trading. We might be dead certain that the DAX is going to go up today, but it could go down. It could fall, and taking our account with it. Does that remind you of something? Of the impulses that meets us in the morning when we turn on our trading account? Hundreds and hundreds of products flashing, enticing us like a siren call. Trade me, come to me. Don't do Bitcoin today, do the DAX. Luring lamps, news flashing down on the side. But what you're not aware of is what it does to our minds. That dopamine-infused mind calls you to action, going, I gotta do something. You're wired up. You're stoked. Gotta get into action, man. I can't just sit on the sideline. Don't make money on the sideline. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs, they'll make nothing. You gotta get in there. At least that's what our minds are telling us. Can't just sit patiently and wait. Which is exactly the wrong thing to do. Because what happens up in our minds is that we're going to get a dopamine spike, a epinephrine spike, adrenaline. The problem with these hormones is that that's not an infinite supply. Yes, our mind produces it all the time, but it's not a never-ending supply. See, once you've had a dopamine spike, your mind has to calm down again. You're like an addict. Dopamine spikes. Dopamine goes back down again. But your mind is thinking, it was a hell of a lot of fun when I was up here. Or I like being up here, now I'm down here. So what happens if you're having a good time and then you're not having a good time? What does your mind tell you to do? Hey, I want to chase the good times again. So now you're chasing the market. You're chasing something, anything, just to relive that euphoria, that spike of dopamine that you had before. But the thing about dopamine is that not only will it come down to what we call the base level, it It's like a pendulum. And if you swing a pendulum up here, it doesn't just stop here, does it? Oh no. It goes this way as well. So if you ever had an euphoric high, you let go. You come back down to the baseline, but you will inevitably always feel a little lower than you did before the market, before the human mind and the body catches up and you establish the equilibrium we call the baseline. So the argument here is that normal thinking doesn't lead to profitable trading. So what does? Now, this is a rather long question. So let's just take it together. How do you successfully operate a business where 90% or more fail? A business where your natural urges, we're talking evolution here, ladies and gentlemen, evolution that our minds will do absolutely anything in its power for you to avoid pain. At its core, it wants you not to experience pain. Where a business where your natural urges conflicts with what you have to do, where all conventional trading advice, such as buy low and sell high, is plain wrong. Where the majority of the participants, volume-wise, have more winners than losers. Statistically, every single one of you will have more winning trades than losing trades, yet statistically, all of you will have a losing or a falling P&L curve. And that's not because you're stupid. It has got absolutely nothing to do with your level of competency in technical analysis. Absolutely nothing. It has got everything to do with how you handle yourself when you are either winning or losing. And it is my job in the next remaining half an hour to make sure that perhaps you're going to leave here a little wiser, and the next time you are in front of the screen and you are presented with exactly one of those two scenarios, which, let's face it, it's going to be very soon you're going to be faced with one of those two scenarios, that you actually act in your own self-best interest, not for the near term, but for the long term. Let's carry on. They have more winners than losers, indicating the skill levels beyond mere randomness, yet still have greater losses than wins, where the ability to interact with the market is present 24 hours a day. You can trade non-stop from Sunday night in New Zealand till Friday night in New York. But not only that, a business where brokers are perpetuating the very thing that makes the solution so far from reach, not pointing fingers at brokers because they are doing us a massive service by making themselves available as intermediaries between us and the market. CFDs is a brilliant product, way superior to futures trading, if you ask me. Yet the brokers themselves will provide all the education that they think we need, actually realizing that we don't need more technical analysis. What we need is mental analysis. We need to be able to handle ourselves and recode and reprogram that evolutionary mind bender of a muscle up here so that it's in the 21st century and it's actually capable of taking risk. Because from an evolutionary point of view, we were not bloody designed to take risk. We're supposed to run away from risk. If there was a rustle in the bushes, we're not going to go over there and go, "Oh, that sounds interesting." We will run away, thus ensuring our survival. It's Luke Donald. And I don't know how, to this day, can't figure it out why. Brian, there was Wimbledon 2007. And you know that American clothing designer called Ralph Lauren? Yeah. He was in Friends, I think. Yeah. He invited me to his VIP tent at Wimbledon final in 2007. I don't know how I ended up there, but I was. And this was on my drinking days. Since then, I hit rock bottom, as they say, and I haven't touched a drop in 8 years now. So I got to sit next to Luke Donald. And maybe I had a pims. Yeah, Pimm's. You drink Pimm's at Wimbledon, don't you? I call upon you, ladies and gentlemen, all of you from the United Kingdom. Is it not common knowledge that at Wimbledon you eat strawberries and you drink Pimm's? Yeah. Yes. Well, that was not exactly a resounding yes, but I'm going to have to take that the rest of you are just shy. Fine. I had a few alcoholic beverages and I got to sit next to Luke Donald. And I said to Luke Donald, what would you ask a superstar if you got to sit next to him? You'd say, hey, why are you only number 19 on the world golf ranking list? Why is Tiger Woods number 1? That's a normal thing. You wouldn't ask about what the weather is like, how the kids, anything like that. You go straight to the point, wouldn't you? You go straight in there going, hey, why are you not the best? Because, hey, that's just the way you are, isn't it? Those are the kind of questions. You don't really believe in chit-chat. You believe in getting in there. Gosh, I want to get something meaningful. I am Danish after all, and chit-chat was not something we invented. So I asked Luke Donald, in all seriousness, why are you not number 1? And to his grace, he took it in the absolute most beautiful way. He didn't get offended. He said, and I better be careful now because this will go out on YouTube and Luke Donald might actually one day see this. Luke, you said, it's not that Tiger Woods isn't an amazing golfer, because he is. I too am an amazing golfer. In fact, on a good day, I can hit that ball further than Tiger Woods. I can hit it straighter than Tiger Woods. I can putt better than Tiger Woods. But Tiger has something that the rest of us do not have. Tiger Woods has the mind of a goldfish. Not from an intelligent point of view, but from a memory point of view. And then he went on to explain that if Tiger Woods and him had made a colossal error on the 15th hole, by the time they had walked over to tee up for the 16th start-off, it was as if Tiger Woods had no recollection of the ginormous boo-boo he had just made moments before. While Luke Donald, while I'm tuning up for the 16th, I'm still thinking about the 15th boo-boo. Does that remind you of anything, ladies and gentlemen? Does that remind you of the first big loss you take for the day? It is haunting you the rest of the day. You're chasing that loss all day. Or even worse, you start off well, and then somehow, maybe you made a mistake, maybe you oversized, you lose it all. And instead of just being back to equilibrium, you're thinking, oh my God, I was up so much on the day. It is haunting you the rest of the day. You're no longer trading the market. You're trading your emotions. I'm forever grateful. But here's the next part to that story. See, this was in 2007, and Luke Donald was number 17. 5 years later, Luke Donald kissed a trophy. He was now number 1 in the world, and he credited his meteoric rise over the ensuing 5 years. And it wasn't like those 16 others stood still. They fought for it as well. But somewhere along the way, hey, maybe it was that chance meeting with that drunk Dane he met in Wimbledon in 2007 that made him think, maybe I should begin to play a little less golf. Maybe my focus has just been on golf, 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 and not enough on what am I bringing to the game of golf. Now it's a time for you to do a little bit of engagement with me. How important is the right mindset in trading? And I've basically made it easy for you. It could be 100%, you think it's all mindset, or it could be absolutely nothing. And I know that there is an angle to this. The angle is, hang on, I can't be all mindset and have no edge. I mean, I need to know what products to trade. I get it. Absolutely, I get it. But let's say that we have reached a level of proficiency, of competency in technical analysis and the like. How important is it that we actually begin to engage with ourselves before we engage with the market? Now, I'm not expecting you to shout out. Maybe you're the shy kind. All right, we're going to go with 75. Common consensus. I read all your minds, and I teleported that red circle onto 75. if this is really the case, then I ask you this very simple question. Why do we spend all our time on technical analysis? Why is that our focus? Why is all our focus on learning new strategies? Why is the focus not on, hey, why is it that I can't keep my damn paws off the mouse when I want to take my profits, but I can never get the mouse going when I want to take a loss? My losses run out of control. That would be an obvious place to start. Now, I do that every day. Every day I torment myself. Do you know that? Every day I subject myself to this. Shall I walk you through it? Okay. This is the FTSE. All right. You'll be proud of this trade. I bought £100 a point at 6,764. Yeah? And the market went a little bit against me. Not a lot, just a little bit. Then, just like I was down in the supermarket, you've been to the supermarket, and you see, oh my God, there's steak on offer. Big, juicy steak. They usually cost £100 a kilo. Now it's £50 a kilo. So I'm thinking, this is almost like the steak analogy. FTSE used to cost 6,764. Now I can buy it for 6,756. Oh my God, it's getting cheaper. Sounds good, isn't it? They're practically giving it away today. And then the market falls a bit more. I'm thinking, not to worry. I'll average in. Then it comes down to 6,735. Now, if I thought that 6,764 was a good purchase, then 6,735 surely must be the bargain of the century. Oh yeah, my mind is telling me, oh boy, Tom, you're going to hit big time here. This is getting cheap. Buy some more. Boom. Woo! I'm feeling good. Except I'm not. I am feeling more and more sweaty palms. And at some point down here at 6,702, I can't take any more pain. My account is hemorrhaging money. And I get out for a loss of £17,000. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but this is back in 2013. Why am I bringing trades up from 10 years ago? Because my mind is in an evolutionary prison. And if I don't warm up, if I don't prepare myself mentally to how, if left unchecked, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it will do to me. Why do you think it's so easy to add to a losing trade, but so hard to add to a winning trade? When I talk about adding to winning trades, people look at me as I'm Jesus, and I've just made myself known as the evangelic, and I can walk on water. Well, hang on, all I'm doing is the exact opposite on what we gravitate towards. We gravitate toward adding to losing trades because we feel like we're doing a bargain, like the supermarket mentality. But why is it so hard to add to a winning trade? I mean, it's not hard for me to add to a winning trade anymore, but the first time I heard about that, that's insane. Why would I add to it? I should have just bought enough the first time. Yes, but look at the evidence. Imagine that you sold short at 64, and you added at 56, and then you added again at 35, and you added again at 25. Just to sum up where we are so far, I review all trades and I warm up. I don't warm up with reading someone's analysis of where they think the FTSE is today or where the DAX is today. I don't care. I want to warm up by going over what are my fear elements, what am I at risk of doing wrong, and what do I need to do right? And I need a visual reminder of that. I need to be mindful of my dopamine baseline. It means that when I add to a winning trade, I feel nothing. I am just conducting a business.